All right, I think we're up. We are live and we're broadcasting. Welcome back, everybody, from around the world. We've got some videos that we want to share with you that we've been going over for many years right here at Third Phase Moon. And we wanted to go over some of the videos that quite haven't been seen. I'm not exactly sure if it's a YouTube algorithm or sometimes if they're just kind of like suppressing some of the videos. Not exactly sure, but we've got multiple sightings that have been on our channel, and I think they need to be kind of revisited
Yeah,
again.
absolutely.
And so we got Brent here with us, and we just decided let's do a live broadcast in regards to some of the videos that you may have not seen before. And what we're about to show you, we're going to leave it up to everybody to decide what we're looking at. Hopefully, we could decide and figure out all together as a community what we're looking at. So, pretty
Let's
much,
get some shout
let's
outs.
just get started here. There's some shout outs coming in, and I want to thank, let's see, Scarlet Dex. What's up? Hey, thanks for joining us. We got Dominic Pacheco coming in from Colorado, and Frederick, Lawson Richards, and Burak Buduk. Hey, appreciate you joining us. We got Panda Nuke, Alexi, Tony Ark, Scarlet Dex, all the way from Roswell's, and Kipson 59, all the way from Denmark. We got Frederick coming in, Orbs in New Zealand. Absolutely, excuse me, New Orleans. We might be actually doing a trip out to New Orleans to do some on the ground reporting, but right now we've got people joining us on the flash chat and the chat right now. I appreciate everybody joining us from around the world because, like I said, some of the videos that we put up on Third Phase Moon over the past few years sometimes just did not make it through the algorithm, and for some reason we don't know exactly why, and we think some of the information needs to be shared because people need to see this stuff. The archive is so vast. We have thousands of videos, and I think we're going to be doing this more and more as we go on Third Phase Moon, going back into the archive and reintroducing some of these videos that, again, you may have never seen before. So let's get to this. Let's get to this video. And it's interesting. It's fast. I want you guys to take a look right around here. There's a military exercise going on. It happened in 2016, uh, 9/14, September 14th, 2016. And this video is pretty interesting. If you guys look really closely here, as these basically supersonic stealth bombers do some exercises, it seems that there's some kind of buzz of a UFO that goes by. Take a look at this. Let's just play the video, and here we go. We're going to be enhancing the videos, slow it down in case you miss it. We're looking at some kind of object that just basically goes in the direction of the stealth bomber, immediately takes a 90-degree angle down, and then reverses in the direction it came from. I'm going to get you guys' opinions. What are we looking at here? And people really, we got to look at this closely. We're going to do some enhancements here. Some people might speculate it's just a bug, some kind of insect caught in the frame of the video itself. But if it were, you would think that why would the bombers itself be so focused clear? And this thing is, whatever it is pretty clear and pretty much in broad daylight here.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. We've seen instances where we have bugs actually, or a piece of lint that's caught in on the frame of the lens. And if you zoom in on it, give it a little jerk, it'll incorporate maybe something that looks like it's actually moving. I'm thinking that this is probably something that's very small. I don't think it's next to these bombers by any means. It could just be a projection within the lens itself.
So what you're stating here, Brent, is that you're thinking it could just be some kind of just dust on the lens and it's stationary. And as he's zooming in, it creates some kind of illusion that it makes it look like it's actually moving within the camera itself. Is that kind of
That's my hypothesis. I do see people saying it's a bird. If that is a bird, it's making a great bank to avoid these supersonic aircraft. It's not coming in at supersonic, but
look
look
at
at
the way
that.
this thing, it just kind of basically stops and then takes a pretty sharp angle there. I mean, I don't see any fluttering of wings or anything like that. if it's an insect, then it'd be really hard to see the flutter wings. We're just kind of putting it out there.
Definitely, you could tell it's in front of the plane. That's for sure.
We want to thank everybody for joining us right here at Third Phase Moon. We're live going over videos from the archive, and some of these need to be looked at again, and we're all kind of looking at it together. And thanks everybody for joining us right now. And we'll see what's the people in the flash chat say, Brent.
Yeah, kind of the same kind of opinions that we're seeing. There's mixed feelings. Some people think it's a bird or a bug. Look at that, the way it takes that dart. It shoots down and then it does that extra streaming move right at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll have to put this in the archive and actually maybe put like this could be an actual, basically, unidentified object. This is identified. In my opinion, I'm agreeing with the people here that it's probably some kind of bug or bird that's caught within the shot, and people are speculating that it could be a UFO, and that's why we're letting the people decide. Here's a video that's coming in that came in 2016 as well from Southern California, which looks to be two massive bright orbs in the sky. And you can see the clouds, and it's pretty thick. And you would think if it was the sun, it's really peeking through those dark clouds right now. I'm not sure if it's the sun or not refracting, maybe making some kind of double exposure on the lens.
Yeah, it's a great capture right there. Look at the clouds itself. They almost seem like it has a smoky texture to it, and it seems to create a fusion around whatever we're looking at. Double orbs standing out too.
Yeah, and some people might say it's a reflection, maybe on a window or within on a window. It seems that the person who shot it has actually kind of walked through a door, maybe through their apartment or house or what have you. And it doesn't seem like they're shooting through a glass.
Yeah, I'm looking at these. I could rule out Chinese lanterns. They don't really light up like that. There seems to be a box, a flotation device. This is more of like orbs as you see them. It almost looks like the sun, and there's a double sun next to it. But, there'd be more captures of this.
We know what people are going to say, Planet X, obviously. And I don't think that is the case. I'm just kind of looking at this a little closer. You can see he's actually walking through the video. And obviously, if there's some glass, he would have walked through the glass. So that's impossible. So I would have to rule out it's a reflection. Could it be a double exposure of the lens? We're not seeing any kind of blurred lines from the power lines. Everything seems very consistent. Chinese lanterns, usually they kind of drift in the wind. You can see that the foliage around is kind of blowing, and these things are basically stationary in the sky. I would have liked to see more video, but
Could it
this
be
is
like
pretty much what we're getting
a
at the
plane
moment.
coming at the camera itself?
Sure, helicopters,
But look,
planes.
they just kind of stay there. Usually you would see them bank after this after you're seeing a progression here, they seem to be rather stationary.
Yeah, I would have to rule out aviation lights from an aircraft of some sort. They're very consistent in their luminance, and whatever they are, it does seem like they're two stationary orbs up in the sky, basically in broad daylight. Whatever these things are, they would be pretty big, in my opinion. Here's a discovery also in 2016 on Mars, and we're comparing it to other geological structures that have been found on Earth that were built by man themselves, but we're not looking on Earth right now. We're looking on the planet Mars. And this thing looks exactly like temples that have been built around the world. Give us a big thumbs up if we're coming in loud, live. Are we coming in clear? How's the audio, guys? I'm just kind of curious. If you're joining us, we want to know where you're calling in from or watching. Bring it in the text below. We love people shouting it out. But see, you can see that we're looking at the same comparison. The coordinates are right there. Google Earth. This is definitely some kind of temple that was built thousands of years ago. And now we're looking at Mars, and definitely the coincidence is mind boggling. So, this was a discovery that we put out in 2016. People are still talking about it, and we did this overlay, and that's what blew me away. When we did that overlay, and I was at home kind of matching up the photographs from Google Mars and Google Earth, it just matched it perfectly. It's almost undeniable. Let me just do that again, because what we're looking at, in my opinion, is basically proof that Mars was once civilized by some kind of extraterrestrial existence, and they may have populated Earth and they first existed on Mars. We're not exactly sure, but here's that double exposure. I inlaid the photographs together, and it just matches perfectly. The world pretty much took this evidence that we put out on Third Phase Moon in 2016 and ran with it. I think when we put it out on Third Phase of Moon in 2016, it was the first time ever that the world was able to see this kind of evidence. And let me tell you, everybody ran with it.
Yeah, Lebanon has basically the greatest structures on the earth that kind of keep you scratching your head on the correlation between maybe what's here on Earth and what's actually happening on Mars. Is there some sort of possibility? Is there a possibility that there was life on Mars and this is evidence of it?
Well, I absolutely think these megalithic structures that are found throughout the world, and people searching the Antarctic, Mars, and the lunar surface, they're finding these strange anomalies. And over the years, they just keep being discovered. Over the last year, 2019, it's slowed down a bit, but I think things are about to get started because Google Earth has just remapped Earth itself and Mars, and they're going to be putting out new images in regards to both the locations. So I got a feeling more sightings will be coming up in regards to Google Earth and Google Mars. So we got about 300 plus listeners now. We got some basically people staying up pretty late. Thanks for joining us, everybody from around the world. Again, if you have just tuned into Third Phase of Moon, we're going over some of the old archive that people may have not seen. And I love a classic broad daylight flying saucer encounter. And I'm wondering what this is all about. This was captured in Southern California. Let's just take a look. All right, we receive these videos all the time of basically these dark spheres up in the skies. Could be a balloon silhouetted by the sun, thus the dark object itself. But what really is kind of compelling were the high res photos that were submitted from the same location. Apparently, an uncle and his niece were there at the scene. And we're going to go over a close up on it. We did a lot of kind of enhancements to try and let this thing stand out, pop. And you could kind of see that it's not exactly a black object 100%. There is some kind of gleam of light to the right, a grayish outline to it, and a dark underneath belly.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, to grasp kind of the physical character of what we're looking at. I like that he's got perspective. You see the house, there's a roof of the house, and I like look at it. It goes right there. Could they be balloons? Yeah, it possibly could be, but this is what we found kind of interesting. This photo, it gives
There's actually two
mechanic to it.
photos that were captured 2016, and there we go. I'm liking this close up. See, obviously, when you look at it now, it definitely is not a balloon. It definitely has a metallic kind of look to it, a sheen. The light parameters of it looks very consistent. It seems like everything matches up. We're doing.
Yeah, at first when I looked at it, I thought it was a sphere. Now this photo kind of disproves that, and it definitely looks flat. It looks like it doesn't look like your typical drone, that's for sure. I would see a hard time to even where to put the propellers and the mechanics to something like this. Unless
Absolutely.
unless it's hollow in the middle and We're not seeing that.
When you're looking at it from this angle, it definitely could resemble some kind of a, yeah, balloon. People dismiss them all the time, obviously, but in this case, this does give pretty much evidence that it is some kind of saucer-like craft. Is it some kind of drone? We're not seeing any kind of prop propeller blades. And again, in 2016, drones weren't so prevalent around, and you would see prop propellers. This thing is basically smooth sheened,
Yeah.
and the still photograph is what really basically still seals it for me when I'm looking at this. So you see the perspective. There's a tree. This thing's pretty much off in the distance. You would have to speculate that this thing's probably about maybe I don't know, 22 feet in diameter. Look at this. It's
Yeah,
definitely
Scarlett,
very, very sleek in design here.
absolutely. Drones usually don't have a tilt when they're flying, and Scarlett Dex, she states that it's trippy the way it's tilted. It can't be a balloon. Well, I'm not saying if it is or a balloon or not, but
That doesn't look
definitely
like a balloon to me, though,
drones
really.
don't fly tilted unless you have the propellers right at the right top of this object.
Yeah, that's why we're going back in the archive, because we've got so many videos that we haven't really shared with the people in a grand way, because sometimes YouTube and its algorithm, it just kind of, some of the videos go big, some of them don't. That's why we're pulling up these videos from 2016
Yeah, I'm gonna
that
ask.
just really didn't get the hits, and I think they need to be seen here.
Yeah, B Baker. Hey, thanks for joining us. That's from Goof On Radio. So that's cool you're joining us. Appreciate it. Because, yeah, we're going over a footage that we need to look at again. And yeah, we're not saying if it's a UFO and they're piloted by little green men. Absolutely not. What we are looking at is maybe something that really needs a second look. It's like
Yeah, what I'm looking at, I'm just looking at the original footage here, and you can see again that it's basically moves in one direction that's consistent with the balloon, but there's no wobble around it. This thing is basically gives some kind of dimension of an object that is just kind of spying on, like how you would look at drone surveillance nowadays. And in 2016, again, drones weren't around, and you don't see any props or prop propellers. You don't see a string on this, and then again the photo is what really is
that's
what
yeah,
amazes me.
absolutely. Thanks, Paper Crane Wishes, for joining us, and everybody else. We got JK, we got Mark Massonet, Cecil Vargas. What's up,
And
guys?
I'm not sure if you guys are aware of our alien candles that we made, our alien candles that bleed green blood. Well, if you want to join Third Phase Moon and join us and send us your address, we'll send you a alien candle for free, handmade by the Cousins brothers, a gray alien candle that bleeds green blood. We'll get into that a
Yeah.
little bit later, but
Become a member. It's that
become a
easy.
member and we'll send you out a cool alien gray candle. Now let's get to this one. This one we called a flying robot, because it does look like a flying robot, and it's so outrageous. Coming in from Malibu, California. Actually, this was captured, let's see, 2015.
Yeah, Paper Crane actually did an unboxing of our alien candle, and she lit it up. That was pretty fun. Thanks. Yeah, this one was weird. But again, it's suspect. What are we looking at here? There's this one gives some
I
detail.
like this one.
There's detail.
This is really close up, but we're looking at it, and some people might speculate this is CGI. I'm not exactly sure if it is or not. I'm looking at the whole aspect of it, and it does seem like there's a very good consistency with the light refractions off of it. The shadows match up very well. This thing seems like it has dimensions. You see the foreground behind it. Everything looks pretty legit about this video. I think whatever we're looking at is in the sky. And as you can see from here, it's like way up there.
Yeah, this is kind of funny. It says somebody just said Brian Knight flying robo dog.
You know, absolutely. It does almost look like. Do you see those like dark windows right in front of it to the right and the left? Like somebody might be within some kind of
Show me this
cockpit.
balloon. I'd love to
Yeah,
see
if
it.
there's a balloon out there that looks anything like this, you let me know because this thing is totally steady. It doesn't seem like helium would be able to like lift this thing in the air. You don't see any propellers of any kind. Now it's very, in this part of it, it's very stationary. Now it's not even moving. It's just totally steady, like it had some kind of a purpose.
Yeah,
Uh,
somebody say it could be a homemade drone. Absolutely. And
I don't
that's
know
it's
why.
unique.
If somebody can make a drone like this, a homemade drone without prop propellers, then you're dealing with anti-gravity. This doesn't look like a homemade drone if you don't have prop propellers. Where's the technology? Doesn't make any sense when people say that sometimes because this is about as
Or
clear
it's
as it gets.
yeah, there's even comments saying it's a flying washing machine. Well, washing machines aren't very light. I'd like to see get
Now look at
look.
this. I'm gonna pause it right there.
That's pretty
that is
clear.
about as clear as
Oh, back that up.
this
There.
is.
That's not bad.
Now, if you look here, there's some kind of a. You would think maybe if it were a craft, its tentacles to basically land on the surface. This is what gets me. It seems like it's like if you were looking through some portals. Like, could you imagine if you could fit a human being in here, two human beings? This thing would be pretty big. We'll just let it roll a little bit more, and obviously, it could be a kite, maybe, or do you consider maybe if it's a kite? This thing is totally stationary in its own way. It just seems like there's some kind of mass to it, like it's made
It
out
seems
of
like
metal.
it's like yeah, it wants to hold its space and doesn't want to seem to rock very much. And if you notice balloons, yeah, they have tilts and they'll oscillate in different directions. This one seems steady.
And you can tell that it's pretty high up there. Now it's kind of moving like it's almost caught in the wind. So it's kind of weird. Like it was moving in both directions, like it's almost moving with the wind. And now it's just kind of totally changed directions. At one moment it's going left, and now it's moving down to the right.
Yeah, I remember this one. It's kind of ringing a bell. It's like it moved obvious. Could it be controlled by somebody on the ground? Absolutely. But still, it's curious. I've never seen an object like this. Look at it. It almost looks like it has landing gear. That's very odd. And yeah, definitely those portals, whatever they are. Is that like a vantage point for the pilot?
Well, that's we're bringing out some brightness contrast later in the video.
Yeah, Joshua B says it's not level too. Again, like
It's
drones like to fly level
it seems
unless
like
you're
it's
banking.
oscillating to the left and the right, but in a way that would make sense in kind of traveling through air where there's some kind of control behind it. And this was in 2015. The technology with drones in 2015, you could do your research, was very low tech in its own fantastic way. This does not resemble any kind of like homemade drone, in my opinion. This whatever it is, it's
That's
look at
cool.
this. I don't know, man. It really.
I think
I'm gonna
like
try
some
and
people
pull it
say,
up.
like you won't be able to see the propellers because they're moving so fast. No, you actually can with that clarity. You can zoom up on that,
I'm gonna go
and
frame by
you won't.
frame.
You'll see the prop propeller blades on this kind of quality of focus. That's the strange part. So it's unidentified, absolutely.
And
But
it is very abstracted, almost looks like it's a functional aircraft in its own way. What are they doing over Malibu, California? Well, there's a lot of reports of underwater base out there on the Pacific Ocean, and you have UFOs and USOs. The activity, the massive amounts of sightings, it's undeniable. And in this case, we're not exactly sure what we're looking at, but we just wanted to go over some of the
and
archives
thanks for
tonight.
subscribing too, Mel Holmes. Appreciate that. And she clicked the bell too, so you're going to get
Absolutely.
notified when we do go live.
Well, that's the update. We have more in the archive that we're going to share with you in the near future, and the new UFO videos coming in, along with documentaries that are going to blow you away. We're doing this week. We're concentrating on Egypt and the mystery behind the pyramids. Obviously, you've been seeing and watching some of that, but what we're about to share with you in a new documentary coming up is going to blow you away. Everybody, keep your eyes on the skies. Thanks everybody for joining us in the chat. We'll see you guys real soon.